Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 20. Yes, it's been a long while since the last time I've ever produced a video for Random Wrestling Talk. Last video I ever uploaded on the YouTube channel was a couple of weeks ago when I did a video with Matthew. As you guys all know, we used to do these videos together. They were a lot of fun. They went over an hour or so, and now I do strictly off of the my cell phone and record these videos for you guys. They're about 40 minutes or so, and that's about all I can fit onto my camera for memory that I have left over. So I'll kind of make this short and sweet, kind of give you guys a little bit of news and rumors that I've come across this past week that I found very interesting. I'm going to start off actually with Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is being announced that he is not going to be appearing at the All Out pay-per-view to face Kenny Omega, that actually has been built up in a very simplistic manner and a very entertaining way. And I was looking forward to this match, but unfortunately it was canceled because the bacteria MRSA, I believe is what it was, that he's having a problem with. He had the same problem with his elbow where he had the shoulder surgery. He did have a problem with the skin on his elbow, giving him issues, and that has returned. So now he has to have an actual surgery done to remove that bacterial infection off of his skin, so he's not going to be able to make it to the All Out pay-per-view. They did a replacement with Pac, formerly known as Neville from WWE. And this matchup, I guess, might be okay for a replacement match, but based on storyline buildup and the fact that Jon Moxley just randomly chose Kenny Omega to be the person he was going to attack and build a storyline with, and then Kenny Omega retaliating at Fyter Fest, it really had a nice, decent build that had a good grudge match going into the pay-per-view. So unfortunately, Jon Moxley did tweet that he is extremely pissed off about the situation. It couldn't have come at a worser time than at this point in time right now. And he sounded genuinely upset. I like Jon Moxley / Dean Ambrose. He's a real guy. And he really seems like he cares about what he is doing in the professional wrestling industry. I went back and I looked at some of the things that he went through in WWE, and he just did not seem like he had the same drive that he has now that he left WWE. He really has a passion and care for the WWE, and I think, or not WWE, for professional wrestling, and I think WWE took that passion that CM Punk had for professional wrestling and pretty much killed it. And I really hope at some point CM Punk returns back to professional wrestling, because he wants to, most importantly, but because I miss him in professional wrestling. I think he's one of the best things to talk about. He's a big topic of conversation, and he's still a noticeable guy that people want to see in professional wrestling. And that's saying a lot for a guy that's been away from professional wrestling for 5 fucking years. That is a long time. And to have Jon Moxley out of the mix with this all-out pay-per-view that's going to headline a world championship match is pretty sad, because this, to me, was a co-main event type matchup. If we didn't have a world title match going into All Out, this would have been your main event. And unfortunately, that has been canceled altogether, which really, really sucks. I hope we get to see him on the debut episode of AEW on TNT. I do believe that he mentioned in his tweet that he should heal up very quickly, in enough time to be able to show up at the debut episode. So don't take my word for it. I'm not 100% sure. And I don't have the information right in front of me off of my computer, because I don't have my computer up and loaded. I didn't feel like going ahead and going through that hassle. But he did mention that he should be healed up by October 2nd, so we should see Jon Moxley at this debut episode on TNT. All right, now let's go into the major topic that I was going to go ahead and talk to you guys about. I mentioned this earlier this week about yesterday, actually, about the NXT episode review I did for August 21st. And now I'm going to provide you guys the full-on article, what Chris Jericho had to say about NXT going to live television on the USA Network for Wednesday nights on September 18th. This is the comments that came out of his mouth during an interview about what he thought was going on with having competition with NXT. And this is what he said. Basically, he went on to say that if NXT was going to be live for 2 hours, you know for a fact Vince McMahon's going to have his hands all over it. He said that it's going to probably feel more than likely like another Monday Night Raw or SmackDown show. And that's unfortunate because they had their own special look to NXT. They were very, very different from everything else on the main roster. But he thinks there could be some positives to this, and what he means by that is having interaction between all three shows. Now, granted, when we had NXT on the WWE Network and Triple H had full-on control, we didn't see any altercations or interactions between other superstars from the main roster brands and NXT's brand. So at this point in time, they've become like the ECW brand. God help me if they actually turn into that. If that does happen, that's going to leave a lot of problems for a lot of fans who are still going to watch the NXT show on the USA Network. Now, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not going to lie. I am going to give it a shot and watch it on the USA Network for September 18th all the way up to October 2nd. On October 2nd, NXT can go take a hike at that point. I'll watch it on the WWE Network and see if I could throw in a review on NXT because I don't have any ill feelings towards NXT. It's just that with them being connected to WWE and they're not actually their own entity in the sense that they're not the major leagues. They're the developmental system. And that is so bizarre that a developmental system can be better than the major leagues. I've said this on many occasions that the major leagues being less important than the minor leagues is just bizarre. And that's fucked up. But that's the situation with WWE in a nutshell. And now with them being on the USA Network, this leaves the open possibility of Vince McMahon actually having his hands all over this. Now, I wouldn't have a problem if Vince McMahon had his hands on this if he was operating the WWE the way he used to. If you shot us back all the way to like 2003, if you shot us back to like even 2007 for that matter, and you had this gritty, tough show like we get with NXT now, that would be suitable for back then. But Vince McMahon's show is not anything of the same product that it once was. It is very childish. It's very, not really all that entertaining. And it doesn't bring any life or value to the viewer to want to invest their time to watch it. I really don't care to sit through 3 hours of Monday Night Raw with commercials running. Now, I did that this past week just to see how the King of the Ring tournament was and just to get some kind of feel and see how things have turned or changed for the better or for the worse. And really, to be honest with you, it hasn't gotten worse, but it hasn't gotten any better either. It's tolerable somewhat, but I can't sit through 3 hours of it. Maybe 2, possibly, but 3, no, I can't. And I'm not going to invest an entire I'm not going to go ahead and just watch part of the show and then turn it off. I think that's stupid. You either watch the whole thing or you just don't watch it at all and just save it for your free time on the WWE Network when it comes available. Now, I really hope that the WWE Network eventually starts allowing us to watch these episodes the day after the actual show ends. If they do something like that, I think that would be great. It saves us the trouble of not having to sit through commercials, and it gives us the capability to view it on our own time instead of being dictated when to watch it. So I kind of hope that happens, but at the same time, is it a life or death situation? Is it absolutely I have to watch it? No, absolutely not. And that is what Chris Jericho really had to say in this interview that he had. He doesn't feel that the competition will be the same as it was when NXT was on the WWE Network. He felt that it would have been more competition if they would have stayed on WWE Network with Triple H running the show. With Vince McMahon running it, it's just going to be another Raw or SmackDown episode. And that's pretty pathetic to go from NXT to Raw and SmackDown episodes. That's just fucking pathetic in itself. But I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to see how it is on September 18th for its first episode and debut on the USA Network for Wednesday nights. See how everything turns out. It's still going to be building up towards the War Games pay-per-view, so I'm definitely interested in seeing how that all works out. Maybe we'll see that Vince McMahon is working side by side with Triple H, but not really getting his hands all in on the NXT brand. Maybe getting a feel of how everything operates and works. And if that's what he's trying to do, then I don't have any issues with that. But at the same time, you got to think about it. It's live television. Vince McMahon works with the USA Network very often. Of course, he's going to have his hands all over it. There's no way around it. So it's a really sad situation for NXT in itself, and I'm really concerned on how things turn out. But like I said, I'll give it a shot, see how everything turns out on September 18th. Worst case scenario, I'm watching on the network, and I'm watching on my free time. I'm not going to go ahead and sit there and, make myself miserable over some fucking shitty-ass show. Really, I'm sorry, I won't. I'm always will be and want to be a WWE fan, but at the same time, you got a guy that's running the company in not the same manner that he used to. He used to care and value about wrestling. He doesn't do that anymore. Yes, it was always about entertainment. He is sports entertainment. That is absolutely correct. He is sports entertainment. He wanted to be not an actual wrestling show, but an entertaining show. But at the same time, the key word is World Wrestling Entertainment. You're supposed to be providing the entertainment with the wrestling. I've said this on many different occasions as well. So I don't want to repeat myself over and over again like a broken fucking record. Jericho also went on to say, if you are a fan of Raw and SmackDown, you're going to be a fan of NXT. Now, if you're not, then your alternative with NXT is pretty much dead. That's really sad for some fans like myself who watches NXT and nothing else on the WWE main roster. I really wonder how the characters are going to be. Because is Vince McMahon going to alter and change all the characters that are on the NXT roster at this point where they are at? Or is he going to leave them alone and work side by side with Triple H on this and then just throw his ideas in there and have them be executed on the NXT program? If that's the case, I'm okay with that to a certain extent, depending on how he is planning on executing these ideas. But if he's alternating and changing everything about it, including the characters, this ain't going to be NXT, folks. This is going to be Vince McMahon's WWE main roster shit with Triple H's hard work being thrown in the garbage can for no apparent reason whatsoever. So Chris Jericho really doesn't feel NXT is going to be competition being on the USA Network. And I kind of agree with him on that because they really don't have anything to be concerned with NXT if Vince McMahon's running the show. Now, if we get Triple H, God, we only could hope, by God, that Triple H is the person still going to be running NXT. Then we got pure competition on a Wednesday night between AEW and NXT. And that's really what I would like to see. But I don't believe we're going to see that. I believe what Chris Jericho is saying is absolutely 100% true. I think Vince McMahon has too much of an ego to not get involved with this. I think he's going to get involved in this 100%, and he's going to change and make everything the way he wants it, not the way it needs to be. And that, my friends, is an egocentric maniac, which is what Vince McMahon truly is. One other thing I did see in the dirt sheets today was Vince McMahon may consider stepping back from creative if everything goes well and everything's running smoothly with the WWE when the XFL comes, on board on television and starts providing its season and so forth. And I think that would be a nice breath of fresh air. I think it's time for Vince McMahon to step back, go to another venture and another line of work, and, get away from professional wrestling. Maybe even just for a while. Maybe he doesn't have to leave forever. But I think he needs a break from wrestling. I truly believe that. I think he's run out of ideas. I think he's burnt out. I don't think he has the same passion for wrestling as Vince McMahon once did. Because I always believe Vince McMahon had a passion for entertaining its audience with professional wrestling. But at the same time, he's not providing that anymore. It's a very sluggish, lifeless show that provides no value or entertainment to the audience. I think the only thing I've seen in the episodes for the last month or so, I'm in the month of July right now, going into August, heading into SummerSlam, and I gotta be honest with you guys, the only thing I've seen any real funny or entertaining value I've gotten out of this is Drake Maverick and fucking R-Truth bickering back and forth about the 24/7 title. I think it's absolutely funny. I think it's hilarious. I think it's very entertaining. And if you just have those two involved, that's all you need for the 24/7 title. But after a while, that's going to get stale. And I'm pretty sure, unlike myself, there are probably people that are already stale from this whole idea and this whole gimmick that they got going on with Drake Maverick and R-Truth to begin with. So, for those who are already bored, that sucks. But, hey, I don't know what to tell you guys. This 24/7 title is a dead upon arrival, means absolutely nothing. Makes everyone seem like a ridiculous group of fucking idiots chasing after a person with a title just for the sake of saying they won a title. I think that's retarded. The only thing that made the hardcore title reasonable as a 24/7 title is because it was hardcore. You could hit people with fucking crowbars. You could do all kinds of crazy shit. And it wasn't done every single night on an episode of Raw or SmackDown. There was moments where they gave it a break. They tried focusing on other things. They actually put the damn title in an actual matchup where two guys competed over it, and then they dropped it at that point and let it be. Instead, they got everybody and everyone that's not doing anything on the main roster chasing after a meaningless title that gives them no airtime anyway. So who fucking cares? That's just a little tangent I was going on. But yeah, there is some talk going on that there's a rumor that Vince McMahon may back off of the WWE's creative ideas and allow other people to have creative control of those shows. Now, I feel that that would be a great thing. As I already stated, I think Vince McMahon needs a break from professional wrestling. If you haven't noticed the way Vince McMahon looks, he looks tired as fuck. He looks like he doesn't get any sleep at all. And he looks like he's falling apart at the seams. I truly feel at this point, Vince McMahon needs to recharge his batteries for about a couple of years, let himself cool off, let him focus on the XFL. He's got somebody else working alongside with him who knows about the football business. And focus on that. Get that off the ground. That's something brand new. That's something that needs to be worked on and focused on, and allowing yourself to be somewhat of a competitor to the NFL. And God only knows we need something different, because watching Tom Brady in a fucking Super Bowl every year is getting really fucking old. Now I'm going on tangents about the NFL. Isn't that this nuts? But honestly, I think that him focusing on the XFL would be a very good idea for him. Not to mention, it'd be something he can focus on that's real. You know, there's no scripts, there's no storylines. It's just simplistic business. No thinking needed. It's just more along the lines of business-related thinking involved. Nothing to the extent of creative writing and creative thinking and getting your juices flowing in your head. So honestly, I think that would be the better suit for him right now. I think he needs a break from professional wrestling altogether, and he needs to give the reins to Triple H and let him run with it. If he's fallen down, hey, monitor it, make sure everything's flowing good. If people are entertained by it, so be it. Let Triple H run the show. If he's not doing the job right and he's losing ratings, keep your eye on it, you know. Make sure ratings are still flowing properly. See if they're going up with the reins of Triple H running the show. And if that's the case, you have nothing to be concerned with. Delegate the work. Give it to somebody else to do. You're only one person. That is one of the major problems I see that Vince McMahon is having right now in his old age. He doesn't want to delegate any work to anybody. He always seems to take all the work on himself. He doesn't trust his writers. He rewrites a fucking script hours before the show goes on the air. You can't do that. You need to have ability to trust in your workers that you hired to do a job. That's like Lincare hiring me to make phone calls to people who have CPAP supply issues and need to replace them, and then the boss of the company just comes in and does the job for me because he doesn't trust me to do it. That's stupid. Then why are you paying all these people to do a function at a job? That is the point of them having the job, so they can perform their function that you hired them for. Pretty simplistic stuff, don't you think? I think so. That's the way a company should be run. You hired someone to be a creative writer, that's what they need to do. If they don't do what they're supposed to do in providing that entertaining value and creating value to the company and getting people interested to watch their show on a weekly basis, then they are not doing their job properly and they have to be removed from the company. When you come in, you take everybody's hard work and thought process and erase it and restart it over. You're not allowing them to do their job, which in fact states one thing: you shouldn't be having a creative team. You should be the creative team. You should be the one writing the entire script yourself, not hire a bunch of people to do the storylines for you. I thought hiring 30 people to do a storyline creative show is their job, not yours. Yours is just to approve what you think should be on there and what shouldn't. And if you think your writers are so fucking bad, then don't keep them on staff. Fire them and get rid of them. It's as simple as that. But hey, I'm just a guy sitting here talking about professional wrestling with you guys and giving you guys my opinion. Anyway, if you guys like my opinion, hit the like button for this video. Leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you on that. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel to begin with. So I thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and have a great night, guys.